Hello, good morning. This is Miho from Canada. How are you guys doing? So today I'm going to talk about the habit. One of the habits that I did practice for myself as well. And this is a transformational habit that you wanted to change yourself to be who you really are, like authentic you. And if you feel that frustrated, you're always not quite sure what to do or who you really are, you feel lost, get stressed easily, probably you are not aligned with yourself. That's what I felt, that this is not me. I wanted to be more like that person, like cheerful, upbeat, or positive, not always depressed and worried about what people would think of me, or constant anxieties and constant feeling stressed and the pain in the chest when you think about something, or that kind of state of mind. So I'm gonna show you one habit that I did myself to transform myself to become who I am right now. And it's a very good place to be, and you're constantly growing, so you will change every minute, probably every moment. You're always changing, but this habit is really easy, and you can put it in your daily life. So that is, change your language. Change the language that you talk into yourself. So what I mean by that is, if you feel like you have no self-worth, or I'm not good enough, I'm not lovable, I'm not worthy, I have no self-esteem, low confidence, if you're in that, the level of thoughts and behaviors, it's really tough to just go through your daily routine, because your energy is low and you get affected by what other people's environment outside of you affected really easily, and your mood goes up and down according to what other people or according to what the circumstances is. And this is so tough and harsh on you. I've been there. And probably you believe you're not good enough, or you have no self-worth, because maybe you've been told that. And you're almost like, when you get the same language all the time, say for parents, you're not good enough or you're not worthy, you start to believe. It's almost like they're putting you in a hypnosis state. You just believe without thinking, because you just trust what this person is saying is true. And then when you believe those negative words to describe you, you start to image, because your mind is so powerful, you can imagine a lot of things, and you start to behave like that. So this is the key to get out of that cycle. And at first, probably you feel so uncomfortable and not natural. And that's so natural. I mean, it's so normal, because that's what you've been doing to yourself, to telling yourself a negative words or description about yourself, and that become your comfortable zone. It's kind of a weird way to put it, that that's when you feel comfortable, even though you don't like those words, because you've been practicing it for a long time. Then when you start telling yourself a different language, like I'm a happy person, I'm kind, I'm sexy, I'm smart, I'm worthy, I'm lovable, I have great values, those positive words. And you don't need to believe that at first, because that's something that you might not even want to say to yourself because you don't believe it, right? But the key here is it doesn't matter whether you believe it or not. It's just the words. And the words has a suggestion to your mind. For instance, that when you say happy or when you say depressed, two words has a different energy, different impression on you. So when you're told like, oh, you're so happy, right? You have a certain feeling. And versus if you're told you're always depressed, and it has a different tone, energy of that language. So first step is to choose and change the language that you speak to yourself. It doesn't mean you don't have to go out in the public and tell everybody that, oh, I'm lovable, I'm worthy. You don't need to do that far. It's just telling yourself and doing it to yourself. Like in the morning when you get up, you start thinking about, a lot of things probably, and you start telling yourself, or you set the time, say even 3 minutes, and you list all the things you wanted to describe yourself. You must have a lot of description words that are so good, to describe the personality, and you just recite. That's what I did myself. And then after that, you kind of getting into your head and you start to repeat those languages instead of bad languages to yourself. And your mind is so powerful. For instance, if you wanted to have sweets, I love sweets, and you start imagine, oh, I love to eat this cake or sweets, and you could literally visualize texture, the color, the smell, and you could almost taste it, right? Or if you wanted to go somewhere, say warm, I love ocean, so you start to imagine and you're literally there. You could feel the breeze and palm trees and sun and ocean and the drink with an umbrella, right? So your mind is so powerful in a negative way too. For instance, if you think about somebody that you don't really like, all of a sudden you connect. Doesn't matter how far you are from that person. And then you start to feel that, that pressure and a pain in your body. So that's how strong your mind is. So instead of using your mind into the negative mode, use towards the positive mode. It's all in your head. It's all in your hand to choose which direction you want to put your mind to. And actually, mind doesn't really care whether this is negative or positive. They don't have those distinction. They just react to what you're telling to yourself. So use the word or pick the words that, for instance, you always wanted to hear from parents or your spouse or your peers or your co-workers, friends, You pick those words that I always wanted to hear this, right? So that's a good start to find the words, descriptive words about yourself. And by telling yourself, you have this vivid image, and that changes your thinking process, the thought, because words itself, like I said, oh, you look so happy, versus you always depressed, and it's a different tone, right? You feel that difference in the energy when you pick the words, and then that becomes your thought, and you are what you think. So if you are thinking yourself, I'm always depressed, I'm not worthy, I don't do well, I'm not confident enough, and that is the thought in your head, and that's what you go along with your life. So when you keep thinking that negative mode, you radiate that signal out to the world, out to the universe, and they say okay, and they will bring those energy back to actually you could experience that state of thoughts or mind and reinforce by looking at that reality in front of you. See, that's why I'm not worthy. See, that's why I have no confidence. That's how it really works. So think it as a little game. So when you start thinking about good thoughts about yourself, about your life, and then that radiates out of you, and you become happier mode, more confidence mode, and that radiate to the world, the universe, and then go okay, and they will bring those energy back, and it really shows the reality in front of you to reinforce that thought of your mind. It's quite simple in a way when you start doing them. It's almost like you're putting yourself hypnosis mode instead of being done by other people, like for instance parents. I still have a lot of like shadows in myself. I've been judged and criticized constantly, so that I have this fear, I have this dark like shadow in myself, that I'm afraid of being judged or criticized. So I cannot openly go forward to the new challenge, or like those things you come up from time to time, and you deal with accordingly when it comes up. So you're not killing every single elements all at once. You do it gradually, and in order to do that, you need to get into this habit, the new habit of telling yourself a good words, using a good language, describe something in a good way instead of bad way. For instance, that okay, so this is the fact of it is raining. The weather, it could be sunny, snow, windy. So today it's raining. And one person will say, it's so depressing. I hate rain, right? And other people say, oh, I don't have to do the gardening. I don't have to water the garden. Wow. I got the little break. And actually, it's really nice. It's fresh, right? So it's just a different ways of describing an event which is neutral. It is raining, right? It's just the way you perceive that event, which is neutral. So how you put the meanings into it, that really makes a huge impact on your life. And when you start getting in this habit of describing event in a good way, it makes the massive difference in your thought. And like I said before, you are what you think. When you constantly think about negative, depression things, that's what you bring into your life. And it's really scary because it's so true. Because I have the example, actually my mother, she constantly think about negative things. And it's almost like she can get out of it because she's so comfortable doing it. She keeps looking for something to worry about, something to feel anxiety or angry at. So getting into the habit of doing that so that it always brings the reality in front of her, and then she reinforcing it. She start to feeding more and more and more. So as a third person, it's so easy to see why she's that way, because she chose the language to put herself down to the level where those negative feelings are, and she attracts that. So it's funny that human beings, they have their own will to choose what they want to be. So for you, really getting to the habit of using a good words, changing the language, which has energy, and it will bring to you the reality where what you're really thinking constantly. And when you choose the good words, you feel better. And it doesn't matter whether you believe that or not for yourself at first. You just think it's like, instead of being a hypnosis by others, like being told like you're not worthy, you're not good enough, you're not this and that, you do that to yourself in a good, positive way. And you start to feel a little bit better. And at first, probably it's tough because you've been practicing negative ways, negative words. So you don't really know to use the positive words. And when you Google it, there's so many descriptive words that are really positive affirmations. So that's a huge shift you could create in yourself. And literally you could do that quietly. And if you have your moment, like taking a shower or bath, you're on your own somewhere in a car. I like the car and the shower, and you just mumble or you just tell loud so you could hear what you're saying. So what you are saying to the others to describe something, it feels good when you describe it in a good way, but you're the first one that hears what you're saying, so you're the one who getting the benefits out of the good language. So it really, really makes the massive difference in your mind and your thought process, and you are literally what you think. So this is a quick tip that I'm gonna add this. So gratitude, to appreciate things. I do this every morning. Like, it doesn't have to be something huge. I always start with, oh, I can walk. Thank you. I have this healthy body. I have these eyes. I have this deep breath to take, right? Oh, this is a beautiful day today. I could enjoy the sun. I could enjoy this greenery and the flowers. I have food. Those just the little things, but you pay gratitude. You have a healthy body, you have the healthy, family members. And when you are in a state of gratitude, you cannot feel the fear or anxiety at the same time, because they just cannot coexist. It's like light and dark. When you put the lights in the darkness will be gone in a moment. So you can't really have the both at the same time. So gratitude and fear and anxiety cannot coexist. So you keep putting your thoughts into the gratitude and getting in the habit of appreciating what you have already, not what you don't have, what you have already. When you start counting what you have already, you'll be surprised how many things you already have with you. And when you think, oh, my life sucks and there's nothing going on good for me, I can't think of anything to feel gratitude for. That's what I used to feel. And you know what? You could start with your own body parts. For instance, your heart, without you thinking or without you telling them, it moves, it's beating since you're born. And they don't say, oh, I'm tired, I'm taking a day off. That means you're done, right? So think about that. Yeah. And the touch, smell all the functions of your body, muscles. Yeah, gratitude is a great way, the best way to start your day. So enjoy your day, and then put your mind thoughts into this gratitude and good language, and it will shift you and transform yourself to the better version of you, or more like it becomes who you really are. Be authentic, so you feel so comfortable to be who you are. That means you don't think about what other people think too much anymore, and you feel so comfortable with yourself. So the self-confidence, self-esteem will rise. It's already in there with you. So enjoy your day. Okay, bye-bye.